Galvan is the newest fighter coming to Rivals 2, and when I say new, I really mean it this time. This fighter is completely new to the Ether universe, and to the plat fighter genre as a whole. I've never really seen a kit like it, if I'm being honest. Today, however, I'd like to break down his trailer and his moveset from what we've seen so far. Normally with these videos, I break down each clip in the trailer and compare them to their Rivals 1 counterpart. But this time around, we got an overview of the fighter from the devs, so I'll be pulling from that to explain his mechanics and moves as well. And then we can take a quick peek at how you put them together with the trailer. To get started, let's touch on his general game plan. First off, Galvan is a big heavy. He moves pretty slow and his normals look like they're more or less pretty stubby. However, these normals open up with Galvan's special moves, being projectiles and set play like traps. In turn, however, these projectiles only become empowered and usable after Galvan lands in normal, and enters the galvanized state, as seen by the rust on his armor being cleaned off, meaning that you'll need to be earning your tools as you navigate neutral and advantage. There won't be a lot of free reward in this kit. Speaking of reward, however, let's go ahead and look at what all the galvanized forms allow, and from what I've seen, I personally imagine that more moves than just what we were shown will give him buffs like this. Like a throw potentially doing something extra, but we haven't seen that yet, so that's just speculation coming from me for now. A good place to start in his moveset is his drills. Galvan can place and angle drills on stage only in the galvanized form with different moves. When you use the galvanized move, your rust will reform, so you'll be locked out of using another one until you clean it off again by landing another hit. These drills stick around on stage and allow Galvan to set up combos on an opponent, pushing them around the stage or extending a move like, let's say, back throw into a spike. This is really sick because it'll take moves that normally wouldn't send at an angle that you would like to change their angle and then get you more reward than you normally would. As we see throughout the trailer, it's a pretty strong mechanic, if not broken. However, they will take a lot of setup since Galvan needs to land normals and then needs to navigate to where he wants to place the drill and then use the move that would place the drill. And with his size and speed, that might be a bit tricky to do consistently while your opponent is also trying to connect with you. I'd also like to go out on a limb here and guess that parrying Galvan, or even potentially parrying the drill itself, will go ahead and remove that drill, forcing Galvan to restart on his setup. I might be wrong on this one since moves like Absa's Cloud don't get removed if you parry her, but things like Loxodon's Magma Charges do when you parry him. So that's kind of a fighter-to-fighter mechanic. Let's keep checking up on these projectiles though, and take a peek at his Magnet Toss. This move reminds me a little bit of Link Boomerang, or maybe kind of like K-Rool Crown in Smash Ultimate if you're familiar with those. You can angle this move however, and it looks like it has a good bit of hit stun. Speaking of angles, the drill will redirect the magnet, so you can get some odd pokes with it if you actually do your setup properly. The most applicable use of this, I'd imagine, is to put a drill pointing down over the ledge, and then throw your magnet at it, so you can disrupt recoveries without putting Galvan off stage or at risk. The magnet will return to you if you're currently galvanized, with a hitbox on the way back. This hitbox will pop opponents up, and should be used to start a combo, and since landing one of your normals galvanizes you, you can go ahead and start rolling from there. Moving on to Galvan's Drill Dash, Galvan spins forward and pulls the opponent with them. When you hit this move, you'll be able to jump cancel it, just like Krag's side special. If you're currently galvanized, the move is a lot faster on startup, and its actual movement, from what we've seen at least. This move will probably be essential to Galvan's recovery, since his airspeed doesn't look the best, but its combo potential looks really strong too. I imagine it'll be used for some great clips where opponents get dragged into the blast zone and followed up with another hit. Galvan's special is a chain grab, and not like the tech chase type of a re-grab. This move hits on both sides of the dino and tosses opponents into a great position to be juggled. We'll touch on his combos in a little bit, but this seems kinda crazy to me with how low knockback some of his normals are. If you use the down special in the air, Galvan will drop the chains below him and spike any opponent that they catch and pull back to him. He can also use this option to tether to the ground and land early by pulling himself to it, or pull his up special platform to him. We'll touch more on the up special here in a minute, but I did want to note that if we get a quick peek at Galvan's ledge special, it uses the same chain as the down special. It grabs opponents in front of him and tosses opponents behind him. We see this clip of the drill knocking an opponent into the blast zone like I mentioned earlier. For up special, Galvan spins a bit and then creates a platform, if he's galvanized. This platform would allow him to reset his resources like jump, air dodge, and wall jump. I think this platform will really push some kill confirms too, and allow for Galvan to go deep off stage offensively. But overall, his recovery might be a touch lacking when actually used as a recovery and not as an aggressive option. Truthfully, I think this is okay, however, seeing that Galvan is built to have kind of a limitless advantage state, and knowing that the game is balanced with competitive play in mind, a lackluster disadvantage state would allow him to really push the game's limits without feeling beyond broken. For our final custom mechanic on Galvan, we have his special pummel, which magnetizes opponents and redirects their gravity to pull them into him. This allows him to link multiple low, knockback moves over and over. I imagine this will allow Galvan to rack up big damage, especially at lower percents, and get neat custom combos. But more importantly, we know that you'll be able to re-galvanize yourself after every hit, meaning that this magnet effect will guarantee multiple hits that allow you to reapply the effect and extend combos even more than you were before. Kill confirms will also become more open because of this, since Galvan will not only be setting up more traps on the stage to enable these kill confirms, but moves like forward air will also power up to snatch kills early. Now that we understand Galvan's mechanics, let's see how they all get put together by breaking down the trailer and seeing how they get used. I'll start with the first clip and walk us through the trailer. But before we get started, I do want to remind you to leave a like or subscribe if you're rocking with the content. These videos and my creator code LASTSTOCK fund my free Wi-Fi weekly events and all the events in my local scene. For our first clip, we see Galvan dash attack Fleet. This move does look like it covers a good range, but his initial dash does look to be a touch slow. He follows up with the Jab 3 combo, which is a multi-hit finisher, that he then cancels into what I assume is his down tilt. We don't see any kind of finisher here, but I imagine you could follow it up with projectile pressure, or a spike from down B like we talked about earlier. Most importantly, however, in this clip, I want to point out that at no point do these moves place a drill. This means that jab and down tilt won't be doing that in most of your gameplay. Our next scene shows Galvan battling with Edelis, where he uses what I imagine is F-tilt. After the F-tilt, Galvan places a drill and loses the galvanation he earned from landing the hit. I'm not 100% sure what the input is to place a drill, and it doesn't make a lot of sense for F-tilt to always place a drill on hit, since why would the galvanization effect apply and then unapply so quickly? I imagine there might be a way to choose if you want to place one or not. Overall, however, placing the drill does seem to be more or less lagless here. Galvan then crosses up Edelis and does a forward throw that connects into the drill. A good thing to note here is that the throw sends very close to the ground and has minimal knockback, allowing the drill to reset advantage and net Galvan what I assume to be an up tilt or up strong, making another drill. This drill knocks Edelis a little bit higher, allowing for another F tilt with another drill placement. While we're mentioning what these moves are, I could imagine that they're all strongs, by the way. And strongs might just always place drills pointing in the direction after the move hits. However, I'm not 100% sure like I mentioned, and I'm curious what you guys think. Moving on to the Absa clip, Galvan lands a normal pummel and gains galvanization. I'm not sure if he would have gained it from simply landing a throw or not, however. We then see him use up throw, followed by side B, which degalvanizes him, a jab that regalvanizes him, and then a drill to carry Absa into the blast zone. Galvan then jump cancels and lands a forward air to finish the stock. One thing to note here is that Galvan does not go into freefall at all. I'm not sure if that's due to him landing the hit, and then it allows him to jump cancel it, or due to him not just going into freefall after the move in general. Our next clip cuts to Galvan down specialing Crag from the air, landing on him, and then using up air to start a juggle. Notably here, up air is super lagless on landing, and hits super low to the ground. I'm not sure if this move will stay this lagless in his final launch form, but it looks really sick here. We then see Galvan use an up special, making a platform. Then he immediately jumps and uses down air width, while placing a drill. This dare knocks Crag into the plat, while Galvan is able to land a down tilt. This hitbox of down tilt is different than the one we saw earlier on Fleet, popping Crag up and above him, and this connects into the drill. The drill then resets Crag onto the plat, letting Galvan use his multi-hit down strong and leave a drill where he used it at. Our next clip cuts to Zetterburn being clocked at the down tilt. This down tilt confirms into a grab, and then a back throw. The back throw does send at a decent range for the percent that we can assume that Zetter is at, since even though we don't see percents in this trailer, I'd imagine it's taken only a light amount of damage due to the down tilt not popping him up as high as the last clip. Galvan then uses down air, which created a drill. and then uses Get Up special I mentioned earlier, which tosses Zetter into the drill, and dunks him into the blast zone after another down air. We see each of these down airs leave a drill behind, so I imagine if Galvan is galvanized, Dare will always do this. Drilling into our clip of Maple, we see Galvan use a drag down-esque Dare into a grab, and then a special pummel which magnetizes Maple. If you look closely, you can see Maple drift into Galvan after the up throw, and then get caught in an up tilt that sends a little bit backwards and up into the air. A reverse hit of what I assume to be back air, and finally an up special to place a platform that I'm sure that Maple would have died on. Sadly, or I guess not so sadly to all the Maple fans out there, the clip cuts to our Badger co-buddy Olympia getting hit with a down air onto the stage, followed by a forward strong that both place drills. Galvan then uses the empowered neutral special to cover Olympia's landing, and then a down tilt to knock her up into the air and reset galvanization. He then tech chases with the down air on the platform, and then uses down special with a reverse hit of landing bear and up tilt to pop her up into the air. This all then confirms into the drills, where she gets dragged around and finally spiked. I think this clip is for sure a good example of Galvan's ceiling, and what he can do with the drill effects, but truthfully, I'm not sure how practical something like this would be in a real match with a real opponent. If I had to take a guess, I could for sure see people comboing into 1, maybe 2, or even 3 drills together, and then linking into a finisher like forward air or a strong. But I'm not sure if full stage drill confirms like this would be a super common threat, which, I don't know about you, I'm kinda thankful for. With that being said though, that just about wraps up Galvan's trailer. He looks so sick, and I can't wait to try him out in game with all of you. If there's anything I missed, or anything you think I got wrong, let me know in the comments. Galvan is truthfully unlike anything I've ever seen in a plat fighter, and his kit looks really crazy. So, thanks tons for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one, or at Supernova next weekend. Let me know if you'll be there. Until then, bye for now.
Oh shit.